With over 400 celebrity interviews and tons of pop culture nerdiness, Too Opinionated is a safe haven for your inner geek. Find us at meistercon.com or on YouTube under MeisterCon Pod. And please subscribe. It would really help us out. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. The boys are finally back.
We're back.
We're back.
Just like
All
Andy
right.
himself.
I think it's on the same scale as Indiana Jones coming back. I agree.
For another
In
adventure.
2008, I think.
Well, it's been about the same amount of time since we've done one of these episodes.
You know, one of these days, Dad, we are going to have an episode where we don't say, hey, it's been a long time since we did an episode.
Soon your episodes are going to be, hey, it's only been a week since you heard from us last.
Fair,
Oh, imagine.
we passed 600 episodes.
Way to go. That's an
pretty
accomplishment.
good.
Yeah. And I see
Yeah,
you guys are always on top as far as podcasts go on IMDb, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like up there.
Yeah, we're number 82.
So way to go.
You worked so hard on that. I'm so proud of you.
So it has been a few months since we've got a chance to do one of these episodes. And we thought we would invite our good friend Rick to come on with us. So welcome back to the show, Rick.
Yes, thank you. This is my second time on the show. Love your guys' stuff. You always crack me up. And got great interviews.
This is the first time I've done Zoom in a long time. I feel like I'm in quarantine.
Oh, well, welcome back to quarantine. I've been
How's
working from
quarantine
home
going, guys?
since quarantine. So this is really normal for me.
Yeah.
This is just like a regular day.
Congratulations.
Well, we started using Zoom during 2020, the quarantine, because I had to convince Brett to.
I was
go to
skeptical.
Zoom. He did not. He was like, that's terrible. Nobody's going to
I
get
didn't think it was going to work. It was a passing fad.
No, it's working great. And it means that you get a wider audience, like group of people that can come on your show. And you've had tons of huge people lately. I can't believe it. Like you had people from The Office. You had Kevin Sorbo. Don't forget about that one.
Yeah, can't forget Kevin Sorbo.
I never had.
You guys
We
are moving on up.
had Fabiana Udinio. That's everybody knows her from Austin Powers, I think, but she's in that new Arnold show, Fubar.
Oh, right.
He played his wife on Fubar. So
Hey, what's going on with Arnold Schwarzenegger lately? Is he the head of Netflix now? Is that what that is?
Why do you think that? He was in one show.
No, I think he was hired as like some sort of like CFO or something.
I have not heard anything about that.
Oh, well, maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was a weird dream I had.
You got that whole.
That is a super weird dream, but I can see it happening.
I think it was
Maybe
real.
that's how they signed him. He got part of the company or something.
Well, this does sound like a classic Brett Wall lie. So maybe I'll look some things up while you introduce.
Maybe
them.
that was a dream I had. I have a lot of dreams about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I have a lot of dreams about Netflix. It was sooner or later they were going to cross over.
That's right.
It really was. Keep
you've got
talking,
the
Dad. I'm
whole,
looking this up.
Was it Zuckerberg versus Musk?
Yeah.
Going on right now,
And I thought it was a meme. I thought it was a joke.
I did too.
And then turns out they're both interested. Like, hold on a second. What's happening?
That's it's a new platform, I guess, right?
Okay, so his title is, it wasn't a dream. His title was Chief Action Officer, which doesn't sound like a real job. I
don't know if I've ever heard anyone with that title before.
CAO.
So,
but at least I'm not crazy.
It was something. Yeah.
Well, so Rick, we should probably get a little introduction for you. So when we talked, your movie Solid Rock Trust had just come out.
Yeah.
And you wrote, directed it, which was awesome. And if anybody wants to see it, it's streaming everywhere.
Yes.
So go check that out.
Go listen to our interview. I don't remember which number it was, but you could search my name through the.
Yeah. It's
and if you want to watch my movie, just send me an email and I'll send you the 5 minutes I made.
Okay.
It's a good movie though.
Thank you, Dad.
So
that should be on the channel.
I don't think. Oh yeah, we should put that up, Brett.
Yeah, we should post that. That'd be fun.
I'll put that on YouTube.
Put it on the Facebook group.
So Brett did a short. So and I love the whole idea, and it's actually really well done. But tell him what it was about, Brett.
Oh yeah, so it's it's my magnum opus. It's called Shelf Life.
You did your magnum opus so early in your life, man.
I'm incredible.
You can't go up from here.
It's called Shelf Life.
Or you need to stop calling it your magnum opus.
No, of course not.
But he ended on a high note. It was like, oh, this was good. I'm done.
And I'm retired.
It was about a man who turned into a shelf. It was terrific, and I was very
proud. It's called Shelf Life.
Sure is, yeah.
I love it.
It was two friends building a shelf, and they accidentally kind of attached the one guy to the shelf, and then everybody just starts treating him as a shelf, and he has to learn how to live as a shelf. So then at the very end of the short,
don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for us.
How dare you, Dad?
Don't spoil it.
I'm gonna spoil it because
we're just gonna watch it.
So the guy walks into the room. You know, he comes home. He's coming home from work. He goes into the room, and you see him just toss his keys, and it pans over and it just hits the guy that's the shelf in the chest.
Thank you, Dad. You're my biggest supporter.
Post it. We'll watch it. I'll put up a comment, and it'll be great.
We're posting.
Thank you. Tell me about your real movie.
Yeah, we're posting that this weekend, Brett.
Oh, but our movie was like a bank heist movie that takes place in a single room, but it's not a bank, and there's a girl with a whole bunch of accents and languages, and there's like, I don't know, so much going on in a bank heist, except you just hear it happen, on the other end of the phone.
Yeah, and she does an awesome job.
He's great. The location is super cool. It's totally different than any other heist movie or any other indie movie that you've seen. And it's got great Rotten Tomatoes scores. It's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's like 8.5 on IMDb. So please, if you haven't had a chance, go check it out. You can watch it on Tubi. You can watch it on YouTube for free. You can watch it on Amazon for a rental. It's like everywhere for a rental. Please,
don't be watching it for free. You pay a couple bucks.
Well, if you watch it for free on Tubi, I'm still getting paid for it. So
all right, you go ahead.
I was watching it for free, man. I was.
That's fine.
Thank you.
So Rick, talk a little bit about what you do with Marvel.
Oh yeah, so with Marvel, I'm an assistant editor. I worked on some. Let's see, this one behind me, Avengers Endgame, Infinity War. I
have heard of those.
Yeah, I've worked on. Let's see, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Miss Marvel. Shoot, I'm trying to think what else. Hawkeye. I worked on Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which just came out a couple months ago. So far, I think that's the second highest grossing movie of the year.
Yeah, it's
behind Mario.
It was good. It was really, really well
done. It
was. So everyone liked that. I was super excited for that to finally come out. I read the script for that like 2 years ago. I remember
that one had tears from me. I'm a big movie crier. I always am.
And then everyone's so excited, and they're always asking me like, "Who's gonna die? Who's gonna die?" I'm like, "You're gonna have to go watch."
I mean, what a great job! That just the fact that you get the scripts early. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun, and it's also difficult because it's so exciting to read it. You just want to.
Hey, Dad, you'd be terrible at that job.
I would. I'd tell everybody.
No spoil. And I'm a vault. Once it's in me, I don't tell anyone until it gets released. I won't tell anyone.
That's impressive.
Until this podcast, and now all the secrets coming out.
Until now, yeah. And then let's see what else. I've worked on a couple more things since then, but none of them has been released.
Didn't you do some work on Ironheart?
Yeah, I've worked on Ironheart. I don't even know when that's coming out. I haven't worked on that
later this year.
A long time.
Brett should know. When's it coming out, Brett?
Don't do that to me. I don't know. I'm off the polls.
And then the show I was supposed to be on this summer is delayed because of the writer's strike. So I'm currently unemployed and enjoying a summer vacation.
What was that show?
I can't tell you that. Mike. I'm sorry. Under NDA.
It was Shelf Life, the TV show.
Well, did you work on Secret Invasion?
No, they shot that in Europe, I think. So it wasn't even down here where I'm at.
Have you got to watch any of it yet?
I've seen episode 1 so far. I'm into it. I usually wait a couple weeks for that stuff. because I don't like to just watch one a
heart.
week. Yeah, I would rather like at least half out and then binge a couple episodes and then the other half.
Dad gets so mad at me for doing that. But then, well, the issue is that I have is I never go back and watch it.
Oh, because you miss it.
I forget about it.
The problem is if you watch it week to week, for me, I forget. Like, what was happening? I can't remember.
The last Disney show that I had like watched is probably Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah, that was a good one.
You know,
but you gotta watch Andor.
The one you should have watched.
Andor was incredible. That one blew that might be the best Star Wars in years and years.
Let's not rag on Kenobi, Dad.
Hey, I liked Kenobi, but man, Andor was just so good.
I know I need to watch it. You know what it is? I think Dad liked it too much. I didn't want to talk to him about it.
Yeah, that's probably true. It's good. It was my favorite Star Wars product since Empire.
Wow. That's saying something.
You know, Dad, every time you're like, hey, you worked on this, right? I have like a little like twist in my gut.
Why?
Because I just like I don't know what we're supposed to say. Every time it stresses me out.
Just say, oh, that's cool. I heard that's great. That's all
you can see why he doesn't do a ton of these.
I don't. You're right.
Now, Brett,
his delicate constitution can't handle it.
Brett, we're talking about Indiana Jones. Did you watch that one at least?
I have.
Indiana Jones. Okay. So you watched the movie that we're going to be talking about.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
I will say it's probably my
do it though.
What?
I had to drag you to it.
You did not. I was just late. That's the difference.
Yeah. So you know what stresses me out? This is what stresses me out. When I go to a movie and somebody is late.
I lost my watch.
I don't know why it stresses me out because it's not like I'm missing the movie.
So your theater, is it reserved seats or are you like putting a jacket over chairs?
This one, it's not.
Sorry, it's the reserved. Sorry, this one's reserved. Sorry, this is for my son.
The one we usually go to is like that. It's a bit more fancy, but my grandfather wanted to go, so we went to the raggedy ass one.
Yeah, we went to the cheaper one so that Granddad wouldn't have to.
Those are the theaters I miss, the cheaper ones. And we used to have one near me, but they closed down during COVID and never came back. Where you could just buy a ticket and you go in and you got to like peek between the heads of the people in front of you because the seats are just staggered.
I haven't gone to that theater in a long time, and it must be doing well because they have an arcade and they have like they've always had an arcade. That's not the big deal. But the big deal was they added like a Mario Kart arcade, and I lost my mind over it. It was the coolest thing.
Cool.
There was like 10 of us at the movie, and maybe 2 other people though.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you, what was the crowd like? I guess it was 10 of you, so you knew it was just your family. I went at noon on a weekday, and I was the only person under 50, I think.
Nice.
Well, I don't know if that's because only old people over 50 were watching this, or just because I went during the day on a weekday. They're the only people.
My dad just lied to you. There were so many people there, Dad.
Was there?
Yes.
So was it all an older crowd, Brett, or was it like mixed?
No, it was pretty mixed. Like
okay, that was just my experience then.
I don't remember it being packed. I thought we were about the only ones in there.
Well, probably because probably the reason you didn't see anybody else is you were so worried about me getting in my seat.
I really was. It was stressing me out.
So here's the thing. If you have a reserved seats, which is the only one that I have in my town anymore, you have to get a reserved chair.
Mm-hmm.
I like to show up 15 or 20 minutes late.
Oh, wow. Boss.
Hate me. Go ahead. Go ahead, Mike.
15 or 20 minutes late after the movie starts?
Yes, because there's 30 minutes of trailers.
Well, that's
Dad likes the trailers.
You miss the trailers.
Okay. Yeah, I never come after the actual movie starts, but I will schedule myself to be 20 minutes after the start time because I know it's 25, 30 minutes of trailers.
Brett, you only missed like a minute.
No, I sped. And to be fair, I would have been on time. I just lost my wallet.
Oh no.
But guess what, Dad?
I keep telling you.
Brett's still in quarantine. He hasn't been to a movie theater in years. He forgot the whole thing, like how it works. Where are his shoes? He has no idea.
You gotta have like a place to put your keys in your wallet, and that way you never lose.
Okay, so here's what happened. All right, I had stuck my keys in my wallet in the same place, and then I stuck my backpack over my wallet, but not my keys. So I found my keys. That's what happened.
Okay, fair.
Also, I want you to know, big deal right now. Adderall's kicking in. I'm ready to go.
You could have passed some of that around. This will be the most focused podcast ever.
Hey, do you guys want to know how focused I am right now? I am. I'm playing Tetris as I'm talking to you.
Way to go.
Thank you. I have social anxiety, so I don't want to look at you guys.
That's fair. I get that from a lot of people. I don't want to look at you stuff, not the social anxiety stuff.
He says he gets that from me.
Bitch, I do not. I get that from my mother.
I know who you get it from. He'll say that too.
Speaking of my favorite indie movie.
Oh yeah, let's talk about your history with Indiana.
So you said that earlier. I was like, man, that'd be a great segue because you just said indie movie, and but I didn't want to interrupt you at the time. But that would have been terrific.
Yes.
So that would have been rude, Dad. I'm not rude.
Different kind of indie movie.
Different kind. So Indiana Jones is probably top 3 favorite film series for me.
Yes, same.
So you're probably, I don't know.
Give
you
me
guys
your
probably
top
aren't gonna,
3. If it's in there, what's the other 2?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, and then it might be number 2, frankly.
And then
Next
Marvel.
to Star Wars.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know if oddly enough, I don't count Marvel for some reason.
Okay. Then you were going to say Before Sunrise, Before Sunset.
Is that weird though? It should be Marvel, but they don't feel like the same. It doesn't feel like the same as a film series.
I feel you. Yeah, that's fair. So, but what you're going to say is the third favorite is Before Sunrise, Before Sunset.
Is that your thing? Because I'll say yes.
It might be. Maybe. I don't know.
Do
you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen those?
No idea.
That's what mine
is. Okay.
Actually, you know what? I remember. I think it's the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Oh, the Spider-Man series.
Yeah, those were my Spider-Man.
Well, those Spider-Man. Those were the Spider-Mans that were coming out when he was at the right age.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
no John Wick in there for you. No John Wick in there.
John Wick. No, I hated that 4th one. I didn't like it at all.
Interesting.
To be honest with you, I've only think I like the first 2 John Wicks. I think John Wick really I think it helps when it's shorter.
I think when it was long. It felt like a marathon.
90 minutes.
Yeah. That last one was hard to get through almost.
So
it's like chocolate cake. It's so good, but when you have too much of it, it almost makes you feel a little sick. But then when it's over, you just have good memories of it. Oh, it was so good.
When
you can't do it again.
When I had watched the 4th one in the theater, I was like, that scene where he was falling down the stairs, I was furious. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then I realized when I got home, I listened to a podcast. I was like, oh, that was a joke, and that was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
But so Indiana Jones, the first time I had really seen it is I was 8 years old when Crystal Skull came out.
Oh, okay.
So
so you probably liked that one.
Yeah, I've seen it like 9 times.
Yeah,
I've seen it like 9 times in the theater in 2008.
Wow.
I loved it. And then Temple of Doom always really scared me.
Yes, totally.
But my favorite until my rewatch was always Last Crusade. That one was always my favorite.
It's still my favorite.
It's terrific.
In fact, that's the movie that made me want to get into filmmaking.
Oh, really?
Because I watched it so much that after a while I was like, dude, this is it. It doesn't get any better than this. I want to work on this.
So good.
Yeah.
But then here's the thing. I think it's time for a new rewatch because there's a difference between me being 23 now and then me being, I think I was definitely like 15. I was definitely edgy because I remember my favorite being Temple of Doom. And
just because it was all dark.
I think maybe. So I think it's time for a rewatch because I guarantee you it'll be Last Crusade again.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know because I just recently watched the first 3. I haven't watched Crystal Skull again yet, but I think Temple's kind of underrated.
I enjoyed it.
I don't think it was what the audience wanted when it came out, and everyone was like, "This isn't Indiana Jones."
Yeah,
but its time has been good to it because you see more of what it wants it to be.
When it was a prequel, basically, right?
Yeah.
Like the timeline was before Raiders.
Yeah.
As soon as I realized that it was a prequel, because I didn't know that until recently. As soon as I realized, I was like, I love this movie. Yeah. Like I don't know. I remember I was sitting there, I was binge watching. I think I was 14 last time I watched them. I was binge watching them. And I remember when I saw the little 1933 pop up or whatever, I went, oh my God. That's a prequel.
It's before.
That's crazy.
I
That's
didn't
wild.
realize that Crystal Skull took place in the 50s.
What? That's the point.
Now, I knew
It's
that.
like-
I
it's
didn't know
like-
that.
I guess I just never thought about it.
Because they do the bomb.
Yeah.
I also will say, I've, especially in 2008, because Transformers had come out a year before, big Shia LaBeouf fan.
Oh, okay.
I really enjoyed him. Not so much now. I really enjoyed him at the time.
Yeah, sure.
So like I think if I haven't rewatched Crystal Skull in a long time, but I feel like it would be nostalgic for me. So I feel like I enjoyed it.
Yeah, okay.
But
That's fair. You're allowed to like it. You're allowed to like
Thank
it.
you.
You're just wrong because no one else does. But
Well,
you're
you know
still
what,
allowed
though?
to.
Oddly enough, I want to hear what your kind of relationship with it here in a second. But oddly enough, the issue with that people had with Crystal Skull was my issue with Dial of Destiny.
Oh, okay. The visual
So I'll
effects.
explain that later. But no, more so like it didn't. It was like it didn't feel like an Indiana Jones adventure. If that makes sense for me.
Okay. All right.
But
Fair.
yeah,
We can talk about that.
I would like that. But who wants to go next? I want to hear what you guys think of Indiana Jones.
Oh, I told you what I thought already. I love these movies. I wish
What's
there was
your
more.
history with them?
I wish there was more of this kind of thing, and at the same time, I'm glad there isn't because you don't want to water it down. You know, I love Tomb Raider adventure romps. Like Tomb Raider was always great. I loved Uncharted.
I even loved National Treasure when it came.
National Treasure, great. Yeah, it's like a fun treasure hunt with
Yeah.
clues and booby traps, and yeah, it's just great. It's fun. Uncharted was what Indiana Jones should have become. You know, in
Uncharted is my favorite game series. And I think a big part of it is because of Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
What about you,
Dad? It's fun, but dangerous but lighthearted. And there's stakes, but it's also kind of like silly a little bit, you know, you're never that worried.
It's terrific. I really, Uncharted rules. Dad, I like your Raiders of the Lost Ark story. I'd like to hear that.
What is my Raiders of the Lost Ark story?
About when it came out, how I'll just tell the story. How you saw it like 1,000 times because it never left the theaters.
Yeah. So our local theater, it was there for like 2 years.
Yeah. Back then, a big movie would just play forever.
Forever. Because I probably didn't even see it. It'd probably been out 6 months when I.
And then would come back again, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If there was nothing released for a while, they would just put one back in.
They just put it back in.
Because you didn't have Netflix. You didn't even have DVDs or VHS tapes.
No, it took months for it to come out on like a cassette or something. You know, that could take months. Where now it comes out a month or
8
2
weeks
out. Yeah, 8 weeks, something like that. It's quick.
In Fast and Furious case, like 6 weeks or 5 weeks. It's like shorter and shorter.
I do have a good Shia LaBeouf story.
Okay.
Hold on, Dad. I do want you to. I want Rick to know that it is Rick, right? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It is Rick. I had to change back. I had to jump off Tetris to make sure, but I do want you to know my dad can't say words right. It's he's never been able to pronounce a name right in his life.
Now, why don't you pronounce it for me?
Well, for starters, if for Rick, he was saying Rakika Ives this whole time until I corrected him.
I always called him Shia the Buff, and I don't know if that's right.
I call him the actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf. I don't know.
Actual cannibal Shia the Buff. Yeah, of course.
Hey, I was wondering, how much of an odd man out am I of this one? Because I'm 23, Dad's 53. Are you in the middle?
I'm in the middle. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. We got a wide range.
3 generations.
It's exciting. But sorry, that was kind of an inside joke for my dad and I because he can't pronounce things.
Oh, I'm a terrible, because I always pronounce it the way it looks to me or how I would say it in my head, and it's never right. Ever.
If someone's getting upset about you mispronouncing it, then they need to check themselves, not you.
Well, here's the thing: is I realized when I got older, I was like, I think I'm just bullying my dad.
You were.
So I'm sorry, Dad.
Respect your elders.
Well, I do, just not you. You're my friend. You're my bud.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's
Safe
allowed
place.
on the podcast. Whatever happens on the podcast stays on the podcast.
Have you ever have we ever had a podcast, Dad, and you got home and like, that son of a bitch?
Yes.
And he cried himself to
too.
sleep at night.
And then I called Grandma because I didn't mean to call her that.
So do you want to know my story or not?
Yes,
I do,
go.
All right. So I've got, or we have a friend that was an actress from back in the 90s. You know, she doesn't act anymore, but she acted back then. And her son was best friends with Shy.
Mm-hmm.
So she was working on Home Improvement or something, one of those shows at the time. So a friend of hers babysat for her. And her son was a teenager at the time. So it wasn't, he was just there in case something was, going wrong. But her son, Max, had a party, invites Shy over. They have a house full of people. So this friend of hers that is watching, kind of overseeing the party, he's sitting on the couch. Everybody's fine. Everybody's just, it's just a bunch of teenagers hanging out. Shy walks out of the bedroom butt naked and just comes over and sits down next to him, just starts chatting like it was nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's his story now, is that he had this just like a normal conversation, but he was naked the whole time.
And he was like a teenager.
He's a teenager. So
that's
like
that's
a young
crazy.
Teenager.
You know
And
what?
now we know.
I would say that is crazy until you put the name on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
that sounds
look,
about par for the course.
Like 10 years ago, if you heard that story, you'd be like, oh, that's weird. But now when you know everything, the history and stuff, you're like, yeah, that's all.
Oh yeah, he's an actual cannibal, Shia LaBeouf. Yeah. Dad, I feel bad, not feel bad, but I want to compliment you because I made fun of you. I remember when we would have like our when we would like go out to dinner or something as a kid, you would tell me stories like this. And you could always like, I'm sorry for talking your ear off. I'm like, what do you mean? I love your stories. I enjoy how much you enjoy them. It makes me happy.
That's nice.
Oh,
You could say
Thank
stuff
you.
like that more often.
Well, I am a great son. How dare you?
No doubt.
well, I'll just say so far I've liked both your stories. So keep it up.
That's right.
Is mine better?
Impartial third party.
Yeah, but mine was better though, right?
I'm calling it a draw so far.
So okay,
Oh.
so Rick, what was just your initial impressions of the movie? What did you think when you were walking out of the theater?
For this one, yeah. So I liked it more than Crystal Skull. I remember walking out of Crystal Skull being like, oh no, that was not good.
Yeah.
And even though I was so excited for it to come out,
Mhm.
so excited. And then probably, like a third of it the way through, you're like, oh no. I didn't have that feeling this time. This was over and I thought that was fun. I was a little taken out of it by a lot of the visual effects. Some of it's just like
It's fair.
still kind of fake, especially
Now-
compared to the old
sorry to
ones,
interrupt,
which is
but
so real. But
Because of your job, do you have a harder time to get into movies?
no.
Really? Because where I did film school, a little bit of it, I have a harder time of like getting immersed.
What's funny is I know how they do it all. I know how they do all the visual effects. I know how they do all the stunts. I know how they do stunt people and doubles and like putting faces on doubles and just how it's done like over 6 months and then editorial, everything. But when I go watch a movie, I just wipe all that from my memory and enjoy it all, so much so that when I go onto set for real and I see the sets and stuff, I'm let down. I'm always like, oh man, I thought this was going to be more real.
I'm happy that you can have that. I think I'm always tough on movies. I think that's a big reason why.
And
I'm
even
happy you can turn that off.
when I was working on mine, I wanted, like, we picked a real location for the abandoned building because I didn't want it to be a set. I wanted to just walk into a real place and turn cameras on, I don't like the idea of building a set and I mean, you have to do it that way. You have to do it that way in most cases. But something so romantic for me about going to a place that exists with some actors and telling the story as real as it can be. You know what I mean?
I get you.
So,
Sorry, I was curious, but please continue.
But yeah, no, overall I liked it. I had a couple complaints maybe we can talk about. There's some plot holes that I was kind of confused about, but overall I sat there through the credits and wrote down notes and thought, yeah, you know what? I really like this one. Thank you for setting off to a good finish. You
had asked earlier before our internet cut out if we usually have like a format, and it took me a second to remember. But we usually just we start with the things that we like, and then we'll go to the things that we don't like. It's kind of a very loose format.
Yeah. Okay.
So, is there anything specific that you enjoyed?
Okay. You missed this part because you were a couple minutes late. But the
it's
opening,
okay. I might have seen it.
The opening text
was I didn't see it.
Perfect. Did you see that, Mike?
What was it? Yeah.
You just watched. I just watched Last Crusade last week too to get ready, and it's the same font, and it goes up, and it's World War II again, and the Nazis are there, and it's raining, and the font came up, and I'm like, oh man, we're doing it. This is exactly right. It felt great.
That's good. You're right. I did miss that. I am going to go re-see it. I want to binge watch the other four, and then
Yeah. I like the whole World War II, opening action sequence on the train. I thought all that was great. It looks suspiciously like the Mission Impossible trailer that I saw right before the movie. I was like, dude, did I just watch this trailer?
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, there's a lot of overlap between the two. That comes out next week.
The young Indy scenes at the beginning were my favorite scenes in the movie.
Younger. When he was, World War II era. Yeah.
I had a little bit of a hard time seeing young Harrison Ford and Toby Jones together. That I don't know. It freaked me out. It's Toby Jones, right? That's his name.
Yeah, Toby Jones.
Yeah, I don't know why, but I was like, oh, that's odd. That's a strange thing to be watching.
Did the de-aging work for you guys? Did you like that stuff?
Oh yeah, it worked for me. It was weird seeing it. It felt like a deep fake to me because of the person
interesting.
Because of Toby Jones, I was like, this feels weird.
They should be different ages than you're used to
I don't
seeing.
know. It was odd.
Interesting.
But
I dug it. I liked it. It's getting so close that it's harder and harder for me to tell.
It was. I thought it was the best de-aging that I've seen. Like it was
so
better than that movie that Will Smith did where they de-aged.
Oh yeah. I forget what the title for that was.
Gemini
Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. That one wasn't great. It's hard. You have to we're still at the place where you have to find ways to kind of build a situation that is easier for you to sell it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if you look close, he's not moving around a lot in the shots or turning his head a whole bunch because you would see that the camera's static in many cases. And when I really saw it was when the flashlight came onto his face and he does an emotion of some kind. You could kind of tell in that. But other than that, I thought they were so smart about it.
They did kind of a clever way of kind of hiding it then because where he was kind of pretending to be a soldier. It's kind of a nice way to hide that he has that it's old Harrison Ford doing the acting.
Yeah, totally.
That's kind of clever.
Well, it's also dark and raining, so you don't get a really great look at it a lot of times.
I mean, he dresses up as a Nazi like in every movie.
Yes,
he does.
That's a good trope.
I did have one moment in the movie where, for starters, I loved Matt Mikkelsen. I think he was a very, very good villain. I don't know if he was used to the way I wanted him to be used, but I thought he was a good villain. But when it skipped ahead and we were back to old Indy, I had a moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, Mads Mikkelsen hasn't aged in years. I thought that was the time travel reveal. It was not.
I heard on some message boards, people were talking about they thought that was going to play into the time travel because he looked so much like his age that maybe he had already done it, and this was the
that makes me happy because it threw me off.
I didn't think that for a second.
Yeah,
my Mads Mikkelsen question was, how did he survive what happened on the train? Did he take a 2x4 to his face going at 80 miles an hour and fell off the train? Yeah. Dude, he should not have a head anymore. And he's okay.
It bugged me that they didn't explain how he survived.
I would have liked one of two things. One, I did think it was a time travel thing, like the reason he was okay. But two, I wish he kind of looked like Two-Face. That would have been nice. Yeah.
Yeah, no face.
He didn't
Come
have
on.
an obvious injury. It felt like he should have something.
I agree, especially because it
Brain
was
damage. Come on, easily.
oh, well, yeah,
You
but we
see
don't
how
do that
fast
in
they were.
movies.
You see how fast they were going on that train, and he took it clear on.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
You know what I did like was the lance, even though it turned out to be fake.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, because it was, Ark of the Covenant, Holy Grail.
Yeah, you're going down like biblical artifact stuff,
right,
and then it was a
which is,
head
I think,
fake.
the best
Oh,
stuff
so good.
in
I'm going to disagree. I think that was a red herring that didn't work. I actually would.
No.
I would have preferred that movie.
Well, would you? Agree. I actually would have liked a movie around the lance. Does it help that when Hitler commits suicide,
What?
they actually found that lance in like his stronghold?
Wait, is
I
this
did
real
not know
life?
that.
It's real life.
No way.
Yeah, that lance he was obsessed with that type of stuff for real.
Yeah,
And that lance, they found it in that Nuremberg stronghold. or
that's so
whatever,
crazy. I did
the
not
day
know
he
that.
committed suicide.
Well, does this make you feel better? I had to look this up. There's a novel where an Indiana Jones goes on an adventure. The whole thing is looking for that.
Well,
Oh,
maybe
well,
it
I'm
does.
sure that played into it.
Yeah,
I may have
I
read
think
it. I used to read those books.
So the novel takes place. I'm going to talk about this later, the timeline of Indiana Jones, because I got a bone to pick with all that stuff. But for now, this movie took, or at least that sequence was in 1945. And then the novel Spear of Destiny is 1946. So a year later, he actually does go find the real one.
Oh, what?
Very nice.
Okay, that's good to know then. Yeah, that makes me happy. I think this was too sci-fi for me. I think that was my main issue.
You're the one who liked Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and this is too sci-fi for you? Get out of here with that.
I'm saying my issue with this one was the same as people's issue with Crystal Skull.
Yeah, I was hesitant when the title was Dial of Destiny. I was like, ooh, what is that?
Did you figure
I could
out
see
time
that
travel like immediately when it was revealed to be Dial of Destiny?
Oh, yeah, because they were talking about time rifts pretty early on.
Yeah.
Are we doing time travel?
Did it bug you that they just killed off Mutt and didn't have a cameo or something in there?
They did shy and dirty.
I mean, they did, right?
That was kind of my biggest question of this movie is what were they going to do with Shia LaBeouf? And I don't know. I was it gave me a chuckle. So
that's right.
Cameo
would have been nice.
It was so quick you almost missed it. But he joined the war, not World War II. World War II is over. He joined he enlisted at the age of what? It must have been 30.
Well, they were speculating because he was 19, supposedly 19 in Crystal Skull.
Okay.
So this is
maybe in his
mid-20s. So somewhere in between that 12 years. So he may be in his mid-20s, maybe.
So he enlisted mid-20s out of spite to his dad and then died in the war.
Not enough. It does not happen enough. I don't know. It caught me. It kind of caught me off guard, and it was maybe my favorite part of the movie.
They did the same thing. They did the same thing to Will Smith in the Independence Day reboot. I know that real well because I worked on the second one. But it was like, he just died in a plane crash. Testing a plane, and then it was just a news. It was just a news broadcast. Like, and he's gone. Moving on without him.
Did they piss off the writers? Is that why they do that? Because it's just like, well, screw you. I'll just kill y'all.
I think it is. I think you do it so that there's no way in hell they come back. They can't.
It kills me every time. I think I like a anticlimactic end for a hero. I don't know. It makes me giggle every time it happens.
It's kind of just basically admitting we made a mistake with Crystal Skull.
Oh, I don't want to rewatch it if I'm being completely honest.
It makes it. On that note, I had the same thought probably about the time when you flash forward and now he's old. By the way, seeing Harrison Ford with his shirt off, and he's like the curmudgeon old man with a baseball bat yelling at kids to turn it down.
I
Made me
love
so
that.
it made me so sad in my heart. Like,
I know,
this
I
is
love
it. This is what you became.
It's cool that we got sad for different reasons at that scene. I don't like that Harrison Ford looks better than me.
Fair enough.
For a 80-year-old.
Fair enough. But you think in that moment, and he walks outside, and he's like the crazy old gray-haired man who just not friendly with anybody. He has no family. He just lives upstairs, and he's such a grump.
Curmudgeon.
And if he told you the stories that went on in his life, you would think this guy is out of his mind.
Yeah,
he lost
crazy.
his mind a decade ago. You're saying what? You found the Ark? You found the Ark of the Covenant? You found the Holy Grail? You seen aliens? Okay, come on.
I mean,
but it's true for him. It's all true, and he just goes about his life living in this world where he knows all this stuff is real, and aliens have been to our planet, and nobody knows any of it except for him.
I mean,
no one will believe him.
About that
that
scene.
it took place in New York. I mean, I don't know. I don't see Indiana Jones living in New York.
Well, that's got to live somewhere.
This is worse. So maybe you don't know this, but there was a Young Indiana Jones TV show.
Oh yeah,
Did you know about that one? Okay,
isn't that John Patrick Flannery? Wasn't that who that was?
I can't remember the actor.
I think maybe
it was. This is Dad bragging. This is a weird way of doing it.
Of knowing, yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's on.
Right. It's on Disney Plus.
Secrets.
It's on Disney Plus, so you can go revisit it if you want. But the bookends for that show, this is the part I remember, was at the beginning of each episode and the end, you visit old Indiana Jones, old, like 95 years old. And he lives in suburbia. So what's better?
You're exactly right. Yeah.
What's better, 70-year-old Indiana Jones living in New York City or 95-year-old Jones living in suburbia, like California?
Yeah.
Like happier in suburbia, maybe.
Because I watched when it came out, I watched that on TV. It was decent. It wasn't terrible.
Hey, fun fact about that scene, the one where he's waking up in his apartment. That was actually Harrison Ford's apartment. They snuck a camera in there. That was him just being Harrison Ford.
Just getting up for the day.
Yeah.
Nice.
You son of a gun. I was believing it for a second. I was like, oh, really?
That's what I like about you, Dad. You always believe me.
I do.
There was a lot of stuff. There's a lot of humor in this that I liked, which reminded me of the old Indiana Jones, where it's just like kind of slapsticky, but not too far. Like the noose around his neck. He like finally gets off, and then it like drops and pulls him down. And he has to get it off, that kind of stuff. Or when he's going through the train, and every train car he gets is more Nazis. And it's just more of them and more.
Did you like the part where he pulls out the whip and then everybody just turns around with the gun?
Yes, that was totally.
Because it was like the reverse of the Raiders
of the old one. Yeah, exactly.
See, this is the part that I've been nervous about with the podcast, because here's my confession to you, Dad, is I kept zoning out during that movie, and
no.
I've been writing something, and it keeps popping in my head, and I kept zoning out, and I couldn't stay focused. So I'm like, I don't know how much of this movie I actually watched.
Interesting. Even though your eyes were open, you know what though? Sometimes, Brett, that's a good sign. If something's inspiring you to write it, like go with it.
It's good because I got a full-time job last year, and it's really cramped my style with the writing. But it's good that it's been kind of coming back a little bit. So,
I do that very often. I'll watch things. I'll watch things and take inspiration from something like, oh yeah, kind of like that, except put that in there. I love that kind of stuff.
So I don't really know how much that I actually watched, which is probably a big reason I didn't like it.
Did you see the scene where all the kids in his college class are like fighting to stay awake?
I did.
That's you.
It was me.
All of us were the kids in the class in the old movies where we're like in love with it, and he could do no wrong. Everything he says is gold. And now the generation is like,
it was. I don't know. I think I did have some sad feelings though for a little bit with Indiana Jones, because I was like, this is hard. This is a little bit hard to watch.
Did you see the scene where he rode horseback through a parade in New York City on a subway?
I was there probably. I was in the zone until he probably met his goddaughter.
Okay. That was
so like
I loved that scene though. It was like Indiana Jones way out of water. Like he belongs in the desert on a horse or on a motorcycle, and then
I
all of a
enjoyed
sudden he's
the
in the big
subway.
city.
On a horse.
Yeah, it was so great.
Actually, you know what? I may have zoned out when they found the digital watch in the tomb. that was probably my. I don't know. I was really kind of hoping for not time travel.
Well, we
I think
struggle
yeah.
with time travel movies because
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
tricky.
It can be tough. You can go way too far and start introducing way too many rules and paradoxes, and you get bogged down with that stuff instead.
I mean, like I was never concerned that they were going to leave him in the past. I was like, there's no way he'd stay.
Oh, I thought they might. I thought that
just because it
too.
would probably change the future that he wouldn't do it. That's the kind of way
and it also would have thrown out the whole Young Indiana Jones series because he's supposed to be in suburbia.
That's right.
And I thought maybe they're just going to wipe away that whole canon thing out of his life, but no, they stuck with it.
Here's a part. One issue I had is they chose a weird time for me for him to be like, I want to be here. For one, I don't feel like Indiana Jones is somebody who like he seemed amazed by the war, right? Not appalled, which was one thing that kind of made me feel weird. I get that it's history, but it was also like a war, you know. But then I always kind of looked at Indiana Jones as more of like I guess like a biblical architect in a way. Like, it didn't feel like that event is one that he would be nostalgic for.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Because most of his adventures are kind of like biblical artifacts. Yeah.
And
that's the
like,
movies. But the thing in the books is he does everything.
Yeah.
So you guys didn't feel like it was like a weird time for him to be like, I want to stay here.
I think that it would have been strange because it could have been any time period and you like pick this one. It was kind of like nice that it was a war still, you know, like he lives his life in war. And here we are. And, you know, Mads Mikkelsen wants to go back to World War II and he went to the wrong place, but he's still in war. Like we've been doing this for so long, thousands of years. It's the same thing. Everyone just fighting each other. So I like that element. But when they explained that Archimedes made it so that you would always come to this time, that worked for me. It kind of tied a bow on it. Like, oh, okay,
yeah,
well,
I like that too. I like the they brought up like Archimedes actually did have these type of devices. You know, he had heat ray that he used against the Romans, and you know some of that stuff they talked about.
And I think the Dial of Destiny is real.
Yeah,
right.
I think so too. Which, I feel like it probably is.
I don't think it actually finds time fissures. Let's just be clear. I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I did like the idea that he made this thing because he wanted help from the future. So he made this thing that whoever would find this would come back here to me, like in this moment.
I would have kind of liked it if we had like an old Indiana Jones and a young Indiana Jones doing stuff together.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of fun, maybe.
That's Gemini Man. You should go back and watch Gemini Man for that.
Well, maybe it would be fun if like they weren't like they couldn't meet or something. So like you had old Indiana Jones like avoiding young Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Maybe that would have been kind of fun. I don't know.
Or you could just go watch Last Crusade again because that's essentially the Sean Connery Indiana Jones story.
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think maybe I wanted more Nazis.
Okay. I'm glad that they got Nazis back into this movie, right? Because it
That's
belongs.
like his nemesis. He needed the Nazis.
Here's my question. Do you guys think that when white supremacists today go watch these, they're like, no, that's not us, not again.
They got me again.
You think they're offended by being the bad guys all the time?
I kind of like to think that they're in the theater, like cheering at the opposite time as the rest of the crowd.
They're cheering every time he gets hit. And then every other time they're the one with the laser pointer, like, this movie sucks. No.
In my mind, you have the one who's kind of sensitive. He's like, well, I knit. I'm not a bad guy. And
none of them like wake up at the moment. They're like, wait, hold on a second. Everyone thinks they're the bad guys. Huh.
And am I the problem?
Well, it's kind of like that old meme with the stormtroopers, right? They're like, are we the bad guys?
Are we the bad guys? Yeah, that was a Tarantino moment in Inglourious Bastards, right?
Yep.
Like, So funny.
What'd you
But
think?
so glad that the Nazis were back.
What'd you
Glad.
It was
think
good. It was
of
good
Karen
stakes.
Allen coming back.
Oh, okay. Interesting. His girl.
Mary.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie to you. At first I thought she was dead. I was like, oh, I didn't know she died. And then she
No,
came
they
back, I was like,
showed
oh my
real
God.
quick. Blink and you miss it. They were getting divorced. There was paperwork.
Yeah.
See,
the
well,
beginning.
that's the thing.
recover
I
from
knew
something.
I knew they were getting divorced. I thought the actress had died.
Oh,
And that's
oh,
what- and that's
gotcha,
why
gotcha,
she
gotcha,
wasn't-
gotcha.
This is how good a podcaster I am. So I had a feeling she was going to appear in this movie. So for like the last 2 years, I've been trying to get her on the podcast, and I almost had it done, and we couldn't work out a scheduling
Oh,
conflict. I
man.
think it was because she was actually filming.
Oh no.
So then when she, at the beginning, when they just kind of showed the picture or whatever, talked about her, I was like, oh, okay, I was wrong. So I felt better. But then she shows up at the end, and I was like,
Anyways. Oh man.
Yeah,
At first when she showed up, I was like, okay, this could go bad. This could be real cheesy. And then it got me. It got me, guys. I'll be honest.
Did it get you
It
when
got
they
me a
were
little
doing
misty.
where
Doing
he
the
was
kisses
kissing the
thing.
parts?
Yeah.
Where
I was like, oh
the parts that
no.
didn't hurt?
Oh, it's working. It's working on me.
That was a great callback. Brett, did
Yeah,
you
I like
freeze
that.
up?
It looks like he did. We're gonna have to vamp with no
Yeah,
Brett.
we'll just have to. He'll be back. Don't panic, anybody. He'll be back.
Let's see what else I got in here. Oh, the whole boat scene where they're going down underwater. Did you like that
yeah.
sequence? We skipped over that.
I like that sequence.
Who was it who was driving the boat? Robert. What's his name?
Is it Solly? Was Solly driving the boat?
Oh my gosh, this is super embarrassing. The world of podcasts is screaming out right now. Obviously, he's a huge actor. He's like Puss in Boots.
Oh yeah, Banderas.
Antonio Banderas. Thank you.
Brett,
Brett's here twice.
What's going on here?
It's an old Brett and a young Brett. He went through a time fissure, and
I don't know what happened. I'm glad that we came in on Puss in Boots because I love Antonio Banderas.
Yeah.
The long tradition of
That was a nice
bringing in
surprise.
an actor for like 1 or 2 scenes who's like a big actor, and he should be in more of this movie, but no, he's just going to be.
And then
gone.
they
He
killed
should
him.
have been. They did. They killed him immediately.
Okay,
Hey,
the body count
wait,
in this movie was high, right?
It was.
They just took people out early and quickly. It was
Were
crazy.
you guys disappointed not to see Short Round?
I thought that he might be back.
I
didn't
didn't.
see
You know what?
I was very disappointed.
You know what? I would have liked. I'm sorry, I like Antonio Banderas, but they should have put him short
agree.
round as the boat captain.
Don't you? Oh, that would have been good. But what about if when Teddy, who was kind of the new short round for
Right.
What's her name's character?
Yeah.
Alina, I think was her name in the movie. But what if like Teddy gets into trouble and then just as a cameo, the person that helps him get out of it is short round?
But how would they see? I don't like when they put a cameo in just to get it in there and it's random.
Fair.
Like
Yeah,
they
Brett's
run into
like that
someone
too.
on Earth. Like, how did you what are the odds? But
What?
Like,
but
it
if they
doesn't
seek
bother me.
that person out, then it's on purpose. Like there's a reason for them to be there. Like if
I would like that.
Indiana Jones know that he drove a boat, like, yeah, I could call somebody and then boom, there we are. But
That would have been awesome.
It's always bugged me he's never came back. It's always
I'm
been a
wondering
shame
if
for
they
me.
shot this movie before he was making his comeback.
That's
think
what I
so.
think happened. Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's no
And it was too
way
late.
they don't put him in it after
Yeah.
after the Oscars and stuff, and it was such a feel good story. They'd have put him in.
I'm pretty sure that he had met Harrison Ford again on the press circuit of Indiana Jones 5.
Yeah. So it's too late.
Yeah. Have you guys seen that video of him of I don't know his name, but have you seen the video of him meeting Joe Biden?
No.
No.
It's terrific. Joe Biden doesn't recognize him, and he's like, "Who are you?" He gets all scared. I don't know. I love it. It makes me laugh every time I watch it.
Who's meeting him?
Short Round, the guy. Who plays
Oh yeah,
Short
the
Round.
actor. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. I don't know. It makes me laugh every time I see it.
Do you think
But,
if they do a movie with it's Phoebe Waller-Bridge, right? Isn't that who's if they do a movie with her as like the new Indiana,
Right.
Then do we get a short round cameo?
The thing is, you'd
I-
have to work it in organically because she doesn't know who that is.
No. Well, she might.
I would have
We
liked.
don't know if she does.
There were some rumors that like Stephen Young would play Short Round, and like the movie would be passed on to him. I think I would have maybe enjoyed that.
Yeah, but you have a great actor in that
Yeah, you don't
person,
need
anyways.
a new one now. You've got the guy back.
He wasn't back at the time. It was before the movie
No,
was
I
made.
know.
Oh yeah, okay. Before that, I could see that, but
I mean,
by the way,
do they make a new movie or is this it?
I could see them setting up for her, but I honestly, I don't think we're gonna see it after the box
either.
office of this one. This was
I
a
was actually
huge
surprised.
miscalculation. As much as I like the movie,
Well,
Mhm.
I saw it did like 130 million.
no, it opened to 60. It's almost a bigger flop than, or maybe it will be than The Flash was.
Yeah.
See, and I don't want to get off on tangent, but I like the Flash.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it yet.
Well,
I haven't either.
Listen,
We know Brett hasn't seen it. Go on.
quick review. Special effects were terrible. There was no excuse for those effects to be that bad. But the story was actually pretty good. And just seeing, Michael Keaton and other.
Yeah, don't say who else because I don't know.
Who else, but others that popped up. That was kind of worth it for me.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, that would be fun. Anyways, no, I don't think you're going to see another one. I think that they thought there was way more audience than there was, and then
Yeah.
nobody showed up.
I was a little surprised though that it didn't really end with like a passing of the torch. I didn't feel like it did anyway.
Yeah. Neither did I. I think I think they left it open so that you could, and it wouldn't be a surprise. But also, if they're not telling you, there's going to be more with her.
I mean, when he reaches back to get his hat. At the very end, that to me said, okay, we're leaving the door cracked a little bit just in case.
Maybe or else why were they? What? Because he was just making out with his wife.
Yeah,
he grabs the hat. What is going on there?
Maybe.
Also, do you wash the hat?
She's like, can you put the hat on? Just put the hat on.
I felt like, no, Dad, though. I felt like that was more of a sequel tease more than a passing of the torch. I was expecting.
Well, I didn't think of the passing of the torch. I just thought they were kind of leaving the door cracked to say, okay, maybe this isn't the end of the last time we see Indy.
I hated that. I think my ultimate feeling of this movie was I was disappointed.
Yeah, I'm with you a little bit in that it felt like it didn't quite reach what the old ones were for me. And I don't even know why. I couldn't even put my finger on it. I think some of it is the practical effects. Back then, that stuff feels so real because it's really a guy jumping off a horse onto a tank. And it's really people in a motorcycle with a sidecar, doing stunts, or he's really getting dragged under a truck. Somebody is. And it feels
somebody is.
It feels like real danger. And this nowadays you can just do anything, and it's kind of takes away because I don't know. That was my big gripe with Crystal Skull was you can't swing on vines with monkeys. Like it's not physically possible, and yet they just decided
maybe you can't.
That's going to be part of this. So many things happen in that movie. They're just like
Brendan Fraser would disagree.
George of the Jungle reference. There you go for the kids watching this. But this one didn't quite go too far. There was nothing in here that felt totally impossible, other than obviously time travel.
It definitely didn't feel as for a younger audience as Crystal Skull did.
Yeah,
I agree.
But at the same time, a lot of the when they're in the car chase and you see a close up. They're not really driving. That's a green screen behind them, and you can tell.
Here's the thing. I've told Brett this. This is my thought on these type of movies because I actually got about everything I wanted from this movie. I got from it. Was it perfect? No. What did it? Was it as good as the first three? Probably not. It's probably right after that. Definitely better than Crystal Skull. But it's kind of like we're chasing a feeling that we got at a time when we were going to the movies that we're never going to recapture.
Right.
Same thing with Star Wars. You can keep making the movies and TV shows. You're never going to recapture that feeling of going to see Star Wars for the first time. Same with Raiders of the Lost Ark. You're just not going to because it's just different now.
You hit the nail on the head. It's
Mhm.
it's a chase because you're really chasing something.
And
that
that's
you're
what a
gonna be able
lot
to
of
catch.
people, they're like, oh, they don't make good movies now. And so it's not that the movies are probably better than they were when we were younger, but you can't recapture that feeling because it's the whole way we absorb, the movies and TV shows is totally different.
Yeah, because you've seen it all before. Whatever you're
Right.
seeing now, like you've basically seen it. One at the time, you had never seen Indiana Jones type of movie in that way.
Or Star Wars for that.
Yeah, or Star Wars, same thing. When that ship flies over in the very opening shot, you're like, hold on, I have never seen this before. They've done something completely original.
I will say though, Dad, two things. One, I do think that they could have tried a little bit, like with what he was saying with like green screen and stuff. Maybe like just get in the car and drive. You know what I mean?
Right.
I
I wish they could have done more practical.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the lack of heart shows through. And but also the second thing is you don't dislike movies. You never have.
I'm a movie fan, so yeah, I can usually find some good things out of most of them. Now, there's been a few that I would say, okay, that was pretty disappointing, but for the most part, yeah, I find something good in most.
I've like that has been, I think, the biggest Too Opinionated thing between you and I has been you like things and I don't.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, we just don't. There's a difference when you don't have internet, cell phones, streaming services. You basically, when we were growing up, we had like 4 channels at most, and that was after cable came out. So, and then you didn't have nearly the amount of movies coming out. So it was a big deal when you went to see one.
And when one was as good as that, it just takes the world by storm, right?
Oh my gosh.
Totally owns your mind share and the whole culture.
Think about, Brett, if you had seen those Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Goonies, those 80s movies when you were 8 to 12 years old, probably make a big difference.
Especially in a time period when everyone's watching them together and talking about it at school, at work, and then going back and seeing it again.
You couldn't talk about it online. So you had to do it in person, and there was just something better about that, I think.
Well, I think I was 8 when Crystal Skull came out, and I do love it.
Yep.
But also, I'm not talking online. What do you mean? Who am I talking to? I'm talking to you.
What do you mean?
Well, like, who am I talking to? I'm talking to you about movies.
I don't know who you're talking to.
I don't know. I feel like this just became Old Man the podcast a little bit.
If you go back and look at what are the movies in the last 5 to 10 years that did do the best, they are the ones that have figured out how to do something totally unique, right?
And that's fair.
The John Wick franchise is a good example of like a really fresh take on an action movie for American audiences, at least. And that kicked off a whole franchise. Or like the biggest movie, Infinity War and Endgame, even though you've seen superhero movies before, no one had ever done quite that, right? Where everyone's all together. Like, you have to go see this.
Well, now they're kind of struggling too a little bit.
But what else is there? What else is there that's a franchise or any huge movie where it's showing you something you've never seen?
Well, that's what I mean. Like they showed us something that we've never seen, and now it's kind of,
and now you can't top it. Yeah.
I think they can if
well, there will always be something else. Something else will always come along and like reinvent, but it's just so hard
Avatar
to figure out
was
what
kind
that
of
is.
like that, right? I mean, we've
totally
that level of special effects before.
Yeah, totally. And in 3D. Yeah. And that's why it did so well. But you don't get stuff like that very often. Only every couple of years,
Yeah.
Here's a hot take on Avatar, Dad. I think that they're pretty good.
I love the first one, but I still haven't seen the second one, but I'm going to watch it. It's on Disney now.
Yeah,
I liked it better. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've heard really good.
I just got a terrific notification that says I got about 15 minutes left before my computer dies. Shall we start our next segment?
Yeah.
Plug that thing in. Hold on. I got a question to ask. I got some bones to pick. Okay, hold on. This kid can hotwire a plane and fly it in a thunderstorm.
What is he?
What is he, like 13, 14 years old? How could he know how to do that?
I think hot wiring has become one of those things that is a lot easier in movies. I think, yeah. I think now we think hot wiring is fun. I've never hot wired anything.
I mean, I had no issue with him driving the little cart or whatever it is, but the plane was a little much.
The plane was a little much.
Okay, what else? What else I got here?
That being said, I feel like if you guys can get the plane up there for me, I feel like maybe I could figure it out.
I'm not gonna be in that plane with you.
It's not
good
the
luck.
flying. It's not the flying. It's the landing.
It's the landing. Yeah.
Also, the taking off. He just knew how to take off. Like, come on.
Did you
Okay.
Fair.
Did you
So
see
Archimedes
there was a plane that landed recently, and the landing gear didn't deploy, and they just landed it on the nose of the plane? It's like a commercial airline. That would have scared the crap out of me. Landing.
Yeah, that's scary to just scrape along the ground. Okay, so Archimedes created this thing that predicts when these time rifts are going. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I think right.
So. Yeah.
Okay. So he's not actually making them. He just figured out when that's going to happen. Very convenient that the next one happening is like 2 hours after Mads Mikkelsen finally gets this thing. And by the way, super close. He could just like fly over there
for it.
And my question is, are they always in the sky? Are they on the ground?
That's a good question. So I had gone to the bathroom and came back, and I was like, man, that's a weird weather thing going on.
Also, you could look up in the sky and see that thing. Nobody's ever seen any of these time rifts before.
Never.
Nobody.
Never ever.
Never. It's like pretty obviously right there. At nighttime, it's glowing.
I mean, they could have been an easy tie-in with like the Bermuda Triangle. They could have tied something in with
that. Yeah. Wrong part of the world, or else they
no, hush, it's just geography.
Well, I'm just talking about they could have mentioned
you're totally right. Something
they've
similar.
had this phenomena occur before that just wasn't explained. Maybe that would have made it.
Actually, you know what, Dad? I'm just now realizing I had no idea. I thought that the Dial of Destiny started the portals.
No, I don't think it does. I think it just predicts where they're going to be.
Okay, because that's probably the part I missed in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. What else? What other bones did you pick on this?
The big gripe with Indiana Jones stories before now, anyways, is it's like a storytelling flaw, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Indiana Jones does nothing, they're better off in all those movies, right?
Well, yeah, it's like the Big Bang thing on a
like the only reason the bad guys are even getting close to succeeding is because Indiana Jones is there, helping, like getting along, right? That was always funny to me.
That's a good point. And what happens if they go back in time and then? But I agree with you on that. What happens? Nothing.
In this movie, they kind of solved that because they were going to figure it out anyways, whether he was there or not. He needed to be there to stop them. I appreciated that they kind of closed that.
Well, I mean, that's like, I don't know if you've seen that Big Bang episode where Amy runs Indiana Jones for everybody else because she's like, well, the Nazis would have ended up with the stuff.
That's what we're talking about, Michael.
I mean, that it's okay. I'll shut up.
How dare you?
Every time you talk about time travel, everyone's like, what would you do with time travel? And the answer is always what?
Kill Hitler.
Kill Hitler.
Yeah.
In this movie, he still wants to kill Hitler.
He wants to kill Hitler.
But for a different reason.
Yeah.
He wants to become Hitler. I thought that was funny.
I thought that was but you're right. Like that has to be number one on time traveling.
That's what everyone always says.
Go back and kill Hitler.
Okay.
I think I'd be really bad a really bad time travel. I've never killed anybody before, and I think it'd be hard to get to Hitler.
Agreed. Everyone is always like, "Oh yeah, just go there." Like people were trying to do that already.
Oh yeah, they had several attempts.
It's not as easy.
But you know what? You put me in the 1940s, and I can do it.
Okay,
just like flying a plane.
Indiana Jones sitting there telling everyone he wants to stay. He wants to stay back here. They say, "No, you can't." "Yes, I want to." "No, you can't." Punch to the face. He gets knocked out so hard that they put him on a plane, fly back to the 1969, fly the rest of the way to the United States, land in New York City, put him in a car, drive him to his apartment, carry him up the stairs, lay him down in bed, and then he wakes up the next day and that's the next time he woke up.
Sounds like somebody dropped Indy on the way.
He's okay. He must have the worst concussion ever.
Yeah.
He was out.
That's a
He was out for
long
days
time.
from that punch. Okay, I don't buy it.
That's some bad brain damage. I think they probably dropped him on the way to the plane.
Okay, how old do you
Like
think
that
Indiana
episode of
Jones
Office
is?
Where they drop him down the stairs.
How old do you
What?
think?
Back down the stairs.
How old do you? I'm confused on the timeline. How old do you think he is in this movie? Because he was old, climbing, scuba diving,
I took it.
punching
he was
Nazis, flying
Probably
planes.
not in his 80s, but maybe early 70s was how
I would have said 80s. I would have said
So
80s.
he's supposed to be 70 years old. Age. Harrison Ford's 81, but he's supposed to be 70.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
okay.
kinda how I took.
So
'cause
this
I took
only-
him as mid-50s or so when Crystal Skull was out.
This only takes place. Let's see. Oh, I guess 30 years after Raiders Last Crusade.
Yeah, because it was
Hey,
12 years after.
He seems a lot older than, like, he's
Oh, I know
aged
what he is.
faster in that amount of time than I think real life, right?
I think Indiana Jones has lived a
What's
hard
the-
couple of years.
So was he 50 when Last Crusade came
Okay,
out?
Last
Right?
Crusade takes place in 1939.
Well, I mean,
and-
like Harrison Ford, was he like 50 when
He was 44 years old.
when
But he was-
Last Crusade or Raiders?
Last Crusade, he was 44, and it took place in 1939.
Okay.
So he was
I still got time
44.
to find the-
But
the Lost
Raiders
Ark.
took place only 2 years before that, and he was actually 38. So he actually aged 6 years between those movies and 2 years in the character. If that
I
makes
feel
sense.
like talking about Indiana Jones's age is dangerous territory because I feel like we're going to mention. Actually, I am going to mention the fact that he dated a 15-year-old, but that's fine.
Yeah,
Whatever.
It's funny. You can go back and read George Lucas and Steven Spielberg's like pitch when they were sitting
Mhm.
around coming up with the movie, and Lucas was like, "No, he was with a teenager. He was hitting real hard on that point." And
Hey,
Spielberg's like
George
pulling
Lucas.
back.
Yeah.
No,
Can't do
no.
that.
I don't know if we want to go
Yeah. He doesn't have to be George. It's all right.
Indiana Jones is an interesting fictional character because he lived through so many real events. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like
Yeah.
Forrest Gump, sort of. That it's really based on time, and nobody else has played him. He's not like James Bond, where you get a new
Right.
actor in all the time. Like that's the face. Harrison Ford's face is Indiana Jones. So his whole life, Indiana Jones has been like mapped out between all the books, comics, and movies, and they stick to that canon. So it's kind of interesting to go look at the timeline. You can
I
see
kinda
like
like
when he
I
was
worried-
born.
Yeah.
When these adventures all happened, and it's kind of cool how they've managed to keep it all together. Because while I was watching this, I kind of didn't buy it. Like, dang, he's way too old for this time. There's no way, but it does kind of add up. Assuming you are okay with Harrison Ford playing like someone 10 years younger than he actually is, or
Right.
and that's fine.
I mean,
You
it's
know
not
what?
that
A
big deal when
70-year-old
you're
might
talking
still be an
70.
80-year-old. I don't know the difference.
It's
okay.
pretty, at that age, it's pretty close.
What was I going to say? Oh, I'm a little bit surprised that we've never done anything with Sean Connery's character, or they've never done anything with Sean Connery's character as like a spin-off series.
He
Not
doesn't
with
act
Sean-
anymore. He quit.
No,
Yeah.
I heard.
They could do like a young
Sorry,
Henry
not
Jones
with Sean
first,
Connery, but like a different, like a new actor.
like a
Oh,
prequel.
playing that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised they've never done anything with that.
You know what? There's something to that. You could probably get like a younger, like take place before
Mhm.
Last Crusade and have some
I know it'd be
adventures with
interesting.
his dad. That is a.
I know it'd be fun. Yeah.
You could do a prequel, young Sean Connery, and then you could do like a pre-teen Indiana Jones in there.
Yeah, I
Well,
think you
the
could.
preteen stuff that would be young Indiana Jones. Like that exists, right?
Well,
or was
but
he,
he was
older?
a teenager in that though, right?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You could do it where he's like 8, and then but it's his dad's adventures.
That's not a. You know what? That's not a terrible idea.
Thank you.
That's pretty
I,
good, Brett.
I'd watch it.
maybe he can do it with the dog.
Did you? Oh yeah. Did you like?
He was named after the dog.
Did you like the fact that they referenced the earlier movies?
Oh yeah, you got to do that. You know what? I think that Last Crusade might have been the first fan service movie. because they do that in that movie. And I don't know if you've ever seen that before, where they're referencing the old ones as jokes.
Yeah,
don't know.
because they had was it is it Solly? What's
Yeah.
where he's coming up the stairs and he's telling his grandkids about the plane from
Yeah.
Lost Ark. I
Oh,
love.
I like seeing him.
He was
Yeah,
great.
did
I was not in an
when he
audience to
showed
cheer,
up?
but I wanted to cheer when he punched that guy and
They
showed up.
cheered in
I was
our
like,
theater.
yeah. Oh, I'm by myself. A lot of old timers.
When he showed,
Oh,
when
no.
he showed up with the punch. Brad, are you
Computer died. How much you want to bet?
Yeah, maybe.
If anyone can hear me out in podcast land,
All right, hold on. I'm going to pause this for a second.
Oh,
All right, so we're back. I'm pretty sure that Brett froze up.
sorry for the delay, people.
Yeah.
yeah. My computer died because I thought I had my charger. I did not. So here we are.
Well, a couple of quick things I want to mention, because we mentioned the callbacks. I mean, they had the eels that was kind of like the snakes. I thought.
Oh yeah, that was a nice callback.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned one of Callie, or at one point was from Temple of Doom. So that he was talking about having to drink the blood of Callie. Or is it Collie?
Collie.
Yeah. And I thought that was pretty great.
Mm-hmm. I was a little disappointed that there was no snakes, actually. I mean, the eels were fine. I think eels are a bit freakier. Did I tell you that at work we've been having snakes come by a bunch because they're opening a reptile house by us? I'm a librarian, by the way. And so they keep bringing by reptiles and snakes and stuff. And it turns out I'm a real Indiana Jones type. Oh, I left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Too bad.
So,
I'm thinking about getting a snake because I think they're cool.
Don't do that. Yeah. Yeah. Turns out I'm terrified of snakes. I don't like them at all.
But what if?
Whoa.
I mean, if you had to pick, what would be next? Because they've done insects, they've done snakes, they've done rats, they've done eels. What's next?
Oh, well, I think obviously
question.
orc.
In-laws? Yeah. Oh.
In-laws. I
don't know.
What about like
taxes?
That's also good.
Tax law.
Taxes are good. Taxes, what? Would have to be the IRS.
The kind of the creepy stuff. I mean, scorpions maybe.
Scorpions are good. I think that's a good in between of like not a bug but also a bug. Yeah.
I don't know. No.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah.
Do you want to give like you got a rating for this one, Brad?
I'd probably give it like a 6 out of 10.
I think a 7.
I would not put it as a 7. Yeah.
Rick.
I'm looking up. What did I put it on Letterboxd when I finished it?
Oh, I also need to put it on Letterboxd.
Oh, I didn't mark it yet. Shoot, I forgot to. Yeah, I would say I would put it at an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
That's wild.
Well, see, I'm in the middle.
And I usually, just so you know, I usually rate everything 1 to 1/2 star above what the general population does, because I usually like it.
You guys are people who like things. That's all right. You're allowed to like things. I just hate things.
Well, 6 it's kind of like a 7 or 8 for us.
In a way, though, it's not.
I know you were like immediately. You had a more of a negative reaction to the movie. And
I was pretty.
It was over then.
Here's the thing. I had no issue with obviously I had no issue with the typical issues with this kind of thing. I don't know if you guys have played The Last of Us or watched The Last of Us. Ellie is my favorite character. I've always liked it when there's a female lead. I think they're very interesting. So I had no issue with that. I just had issues. So my issues with this movie wasn't the typical it was too woke or whatever. But I don't know. I had just some. I can't quite place my issue with it, if that makes sense. I just don't. I was disappointed.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I thought it was. I went in with pretty low expectations though, because I was disappointed like that for Crystal Skull. So I wasn't expecting a whole lot, and it actually was better than what I was
expecting. Yeah, good point.
I think you need to go easier on Crystal Skull.
And you need to go back and watch it again.
I don't want to. I'm scared to.
You want to keep
I
it in your
remember
memory as wonderful.
Here's the worst thing is that you mentioned like the one thing that I keep thinking about when I think of Crystal Skull, and it's the monkeys and the vines. And I'm like, man,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the monkeys and the vines.
Oh man, that is
Yeah.
my nightmare.
That Spielberg's wife never shows back up.
Right.
I thought that was cool at some point if he mentioned her because he had a thing for her in Temple.
Yeah, I'm not so sure how long that went for. That might have been like
Been quick.
a couple days out of his life.
She would be one that I would like to make a cameo, like him to run into her in New York, just for they have a quick meeting or something. I don't know. I thought that would have been cool to establish that they've still got a connection somewhere in there.
Who is she? Who is she? Is she the?
She was the love interest in Temple of Doom. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay.
In Spielberg.
Okay, gotcha. I did not. That's a fun little fact you told me, Dad. Thank you.
She was a nightclub singer. Maybe he goes. She's in there singing. I don't know, and he's just like, hey.
I just like that you have the ability to pick a cameo, and that's who you choose.
That's what I choose.
Yeah, and in this scenario, that's who I want.
But she'd have been my second choice.
Okay, all right, that's all right then. I think personally, I would have chose the guy with the cow skull in Temple of Doom if I had a choice. No, in fact, actually, I would have liked the guy he shot, the guy who did the cool sword move. That's what I would have chose.
Cool.
Yeah, he's like, I'm all right, by the way, and I joined the IRS.
So maybe the guy survived.
Yeah, I heard it happens.
Yeah.
So I think, should we go on to our next segment?
Now we can go to the next segment. Go for it, Brett.
Well, I'm not as worried now because it already died. We passed it.
We got through all my gripes. So
well, good. This is kind of a short segment because no one writes us letters, so we don't have a letter segment. This is pretty much just a hey, do you have anything what's next on your media plate? What's your next are you reading anything? Are you watching anything? Playing anything?
Oh, good question.
Mm.
The first Witcher for season 3 tonight.
Yep.
It was good.
Oh, did it drop? I didn't know that.
There's 5 episodes out. I don't know if that's all that's out. That seems like a short season. No, Cavill's leaving, but
that's a half. That's the half season. They're gonna release the second half in a little while.
Good. First one was good. Those Rick.
I watched the first 2 seasons so far. Yeah.
Yeah. Third
I've
one
only watched the first one. Yeah.
Was pretty solid.
I like them.
I'm hoping that the third season ends with kind of like a seamless. I don't know. I feel like they can be like, I don't know. Maybe someone could do like a stupid spell and change how he looks forever. I don't know. I want it to be explained. I don't like recastings. Just
he's going
because it's so strange.
Yeah, the whole weird. But anything you're currently watching, Rick, or reading?
I'm just super excited for summer movies because this summer is going to go down in history as some of the biggest movies ever.
That's very interesting. I think it's going to be the summer of flops.
Well, so much so, that because I think it's actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf situation where there's so many big ones that there's not enough room for them all. It seems every weekend is like $200-300 million movie coming out, and audiences are tired.
I'm excited for Oppenheimer. I'm excited for Barbie.
Yes,
and maybe Mission Impossible as well.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Fast and Furious. Man, there's some Marvel movies coming out. I'm so pumped for.
Yeah, what's the Marvel movies coming?
Is there? I didn't realize.
Well, it's like I forget what it's called. I think it's called The Marvels.
Coming out.
Yeah, I think that's coming out in like November.
Yeah, that's in the fall.
That's right.
I'm trying to think what else is coming out this summer that I'm a huge Insidious fan, so I'm gonna have to go see that.
Okay, I will not be.
I cannot wait for Dune when that comes out. I think that's in the fall. Dune Part 2.
I forgot I like Dune.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm excited
So,
for that one.
I'm actually having a hard time just trying to keep up with every week release right now.
It's
and,
brutal.
That's what I'm excited
I got
for.
behind because of that. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
it's a good thing that movies are coming to streaming so quickly because
Yeah.
it's easier to keep up with them.
Yeah, but a
Well,
lot of
you
the
know-
ones coming out are like, oh, I got to see that in theaters because I want to see that on the big screen. I totally want to see Oppenheimer on the big screen.
I have a
And
I
also
have an easier
Mission
time seeing things.
Impossible.
Mhm. I
Yeah,
can imagine seeing Mission Impossible on just like my
On TV.
75-inch TV at home.
Yeah, I know.
think about Gosling, Reed Richards.
I
Say
don't
that
think
again.
I like it.
Ryan Gosling playing Reed Richards. What do you?
Oh, is that confirmed or is that rumored?
I think it's like rumored, but pretty well confirmed. I think.
Hey, I'm fine with whatever. I got no quarrel. Pick whoever they want.
It's a little funny that they couldn't get Margot Robbie, so they went to Ryan Gosling from the. It's a little funny.
Dude, there's a Meg movie coming out in August.
Yeah,
Are you excited for the Meg?
Excited for that. Gran
Yeah.
Turismo movie looks super cool.
I've heard people are excited about that. I'm not.
Blue Beetle,
I'm
I've
a
never heard
racing
of.
movie guy.
I'm calling a flop right now on Blue.
I'm actually a fan of
That's gonna be bad.
I'm a little bit excited for Blue Beetle. I think
If you're excited for it, that's great, and hopefully it does well. But I can't.
it won't. I
can't see
agree.
that movie doing.
I think it'll be fun to watch. I'm a little bit excited to watch the return of George Lopez, but that's about it. That's about it.
Anything DC's doing is difficult to get excited about till we see the vision.
It's tough, yeah, because it feels like
Now we're
a lame duck.
you
Unfortunately, Dad, that is a Marvel character.
coming and they're. I mean, does that even fit anywhere? It doesn't. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see how that. I like Flash, and I thought they cleared the slate a little bit with that movie, but we're still trying to figure out who's in the new DC universe and who's not.
Yeah,
I think depending on how this movie does, Blue Beetle depends on if he's going to be in the next universe or not. Yeah,
That they Gunn confirmed he was part of the new. Because Peacemaker's,
okay.
I really liked Peacemaker.
Peacemaker ruled. I agree.
Yeah.
So I got two things. So I got a video game and I got a TV show.
Okay.
So the new Spider-Man game's coming out in a couple months. So I thought it would be a good time to replay the one that came out in 2018.
mm-hmm.
The difference is, so they released kind of like a spin-off game in between the two games, Miles Morales game, and they changed Peter Parker's face. And I've never played the game with the new face because it's weird looking, and I don't like it. So I'm gonna try to play. I'm gonna try to play it with the weird looking face, and so that's the game I'm gonna play. But I heard that there's a new TV show coming out called My Adventures with Superman, and I think it's like a Jimmy Olsen type show on Adult Swim. So I'm gonna check that out. I think I like the animation. It's sort of anime style, but also not. I think it looks kind of fun.
Did you see when that Venture Brothers movie's coming out?
No, I just saw that they had announced it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. I need to watch that entire show.
Have you ever seen that, Rick? Venture Brothers?
Yeah, I watched some of that. I don't have Adult Swim. That's Hulu now, right?
Oh, is it? I thought. Oh, I don't know. I think.
Where's all
Max
that stuff showing? Oh, it's on Max. Yeah, I've fallen behind on the Adult Swim in the last couple of years.
That's fair.
Fortunately,
yeah.
I did love that stuff for a long, long time.
Yeah,
but
the most freeing thing that you can do is just stop watching anything and have a podcast about things that you watch. Yeah, that's what you should do.
I'm just gonna keep coming on your podcast. I think make it easier.
It'll help. Thank you. But I think that's the show, Dad. If you do you wanna help him plug some stuff, or do you want to plug some stuff?
Well, yeah, Rick. Let's let you go through Solid Rock Trust and where we can watch that one.
Oh yeah, again, go back listen to the MeisterCon episode where I was on. We talk all about how we made that movie and stuff, and your family was all so kind to watch it all and loved it. So
Mhm.
That makes me feel really great. So you can watch it on YouTube if you search Solid Rock Trust or Tubi or Amazon or wherever. Leave me a review somewhere on
When
IMDb.
episode airs, that'll be in the, at
Oh,
some
the show notes.
it'll pop up the old episode that they can click on to
Yeah, nice.
watch. Yep.
Cool. Thank you. But that's pretty much it, man. Enjoy your summer.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you.
Of
You are
course,
obviously welcome to.
join the Too Opinionated Facebook group because you guys have endless amount of hilarious memes
do.
that I never get tired of. And
We have a page and we have a group. MeisterCon is the page, and then we have a subgroup called MeisterContriacs, which is
I'm in
kind
both.
of my magnum opus. Is my second magnum
I
opus.
thought the 5-minute short was your magnum opus.
It was also that one was also my magnum opus.
Man, you are a busy guy.
Yeah, it's crazy, but obviously, Rick, you are welcome to come back on whenever.
Yeah, thank
hopefully,
you.
I'll bring a charger next time.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
we'll fix
please,
Mike's microphone next time too. For the second half.
let's pray I can do it in editing. I've been thinking about it the whole time.
Okay.
But is Dad even still with us?
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, cool. Then I'll end it for you. Thanks everybody for listening. Rick, I'll see you later. Well, if you want to email stuff so I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, of course.
Are you seriously not able to hear me?
We can hear you,
now.
when you're talking, when someone else is talking, you're totally silent. It's like cutting you out. It's putting you on the other microphone like we did that one time.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. You just be quiet for a minute. For a minute.
Be the eye candy. Be the sexy guy in the corner that everyone logs in just to see, and you'll be doing your job.
Yeah, I agree. But that's the show, everybody. Hopefully, we'll be back next week with. But we'll have like 6 interviews next week, so we'll see you then.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's no end to it. Good job.
There never is. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everybody. I'm once again here to ask for your support. It's been a big year for the Too Opinionated podcast. Back in February, we got to live out a dream, moderate for William Shatner here in our hometown. In May, we passed 100,000 downloads on our YouTube channel, and we followed that up in June with 50,000 downloads on the audio side. We recently posted our 600th episode, which is pretty good volume for just a father and son operation. Not too many podcasts can keep that volume up. We've been doing this now for 4.5 years, 600 plus episodes. We recently hit 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is a really big deal for us because we've always gotten the views, but have struggled to get people to subscribe. So that 1,000 was a big deal for us. And best of all, we were recently named one of the top podcasts on IMDb, which is the entertainment database. Those that are ahead of us, we came in at number 82. Those that are ahead of us are bigger companies like Disney, mostly Marvel, and Joe Rogan, that type of podcast. So for us, being just a small West Virginia father and son podcast, to be in the top 100 out of 15 million, it's a pretty big deal for us. So thank you for everything you've done for us so far. Got a couple little ways, though, that you can help us, and they're free, and they're really easy. If you haven't checked out our YouTube channel yet, please go to YouTube. It's under MeisterCon Pod. Just hit subscribe. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. Really helps us a ton. And maybe even more important, if you could go to IMDb, imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and just look around the page. Just having that traffic on the page really helps us out. So that's a couple easy ways that you can support us, even if you're not listening or watching all of the time. And we want you to listen and watch, because I think that our guest list, I would put up against anybody, any other show, podcast, anybody out there. I think our guest list holds up. So please check us out. You probably will find somebody that you like, or maybe somebody that you didn't know you liked, but kind of discovered them on there. There's tons of that. If you're into music, we have that too. If you like books, we've got authors on there. If you're more into what goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment world, we've got producers, directors, video artists, anything you can think of that happens behind the scenes, we've had them on the show. So definitely check us out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.